So this dark red right here is what Phil was talking about a few minutes ago, where it was almost 6 inches of rain an hour. If that sat in one place for a long time, you'd have some flooding in no time. But these strong storms with the gray that you see there is the hail core. So coming through Hopewell right now, you may get some pretty good hail there. Up past Dresden with some heavy rain past the basket. And then you get into Coshocton County, and this is where we're concerned about some rotation. Phil, what do you think? Right about there?
Yeah, right in.
Maybe that. Sometimes the rotation is very difficult to see, and it becomes a little bit challenging to find where the actual rotation itself is. In this case, that little inflow notch right there could be part of it, but getting down toward Tyrone there on 541, that's racing up toward Coshocton right now, so that is going to be a quick northeasterly path. These storms are moving 50 to 60 miles per hour. So again, these are highway speeds. If you think about how long it takes you to drive across the county, that's how long it's going to take for these storms to race through here. The very heavy rain right there from the north to south in Coshocton County and tracking to the east and northeast. Plus you've got more of that off to the north. That's up near Millersburg, so that's at Wayne County. And then that has a hail core on it as well. So there's embedded hail in this, just like there was earlier in the day today. Once this line goes through, and the front of these storms, this line with the very heavy rain, is where the rotation is most notable in these. Behind that, some of it's just heavy rain. But that's going to become its own issue over the next couple of days. So in Coshocton right now, it is time to get to your safe space. So you've been through the drill before. You know how this goes. It's go to the middle of the house as best you can. Put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. Avoid windows. If you have a basement, that's a good place to go. But Coshocton County right now with tornado warnings until at least 3:15 in the morning. Let's put the warnings themselves back up there real quick, or maybe even a quick track on it. There we go. So now you're looking at, here's Coshocton County. And this is where the biggest concern is for rotation. So right through the city of Coshocton, you're probably hearing the sirens in Coshocton right now and other parts of Coshocton County. You get out here into a little bit of Tuscarawas County, you may not every county has sirens outside of the cities. So with any luck, you are hearing sirens that are giving you the notification to get to your safe space. But Coshocton, Newcomerstown, even parts of New Philadelphia, a little bit of Dover there, all of this is important for you to be in your safe space as these storms come through. These have been strong storms racing across the state all evening, and they will continue to do that for the next couple of hours as the cold front keeps pushing these through here. So let me show you where some of this is in relation to some of what else is happening. So here's a wider picture. So the Coshocton County storm is here. And Coshocton County, hearing the sirens, getting to your safe space now. Everybody else along this line, you saw where the hail cores are very strong. There was the heavy downpours, the gusty winds. That is why these orange counties, and that goes all the way from the Akron area down 77, past Muskingum County into Perry and Hocking counties, Vinton, parts of Athens counties, all included in the thunderstorm warnings. The yellow behind it is a tornado watch. So the tornado watch has been allowed to expire to the west, or it's been canceled to the west, but still a chance for some rotation in the storms from Cleveland all the way down into the Cider River Valley. So because of that, we're continuing to stay weather aware, but active rotation happening in parts of Coshocton County right now, and then headed over toward I-77. So if we put a track on this, let's get close in on it and see exactly where we are. What do we have in the middle here? There it is. So from Graham Corners up through Tunnel Hill, through Tyrone, then up into the city of Coshocton itself, just north of Conesville. Conesville has its own tornado history, but then a little farther to the east through West Lafayette, a little bit of Newcomerstown, Fort Washington, and into Stone Creek. So this is when you get out into more of Tuscarawas County this way. but a lot of Coshocton County, including the city of Coshocton, included in this tornado warning until at least 3:15 in the morning. So let's put a closer track on
really
this.
moving through the city of Coshocton right now as we speak.
Very heavy rain happening there, and there's your track. So we get into West Lafayette right at 3 o'clock, so you've got a few minutes yet to get to your safe space and prepare there. New Philadelphia at about 3:12, 3:15. White Eyes, I wonder what's in White Eyes. I've not been to White Eyes.
Neither have I.
I'm curious now. So then we're going to have to track this into eastern Ohio, east of 77. So lots of heavy rain with this, plus the potential of the rotation. So that is why you're going to your safe space right now, and you're going to stay there as long as you hear the sirens, or at least until this part of the storm has moved beyond your neighborhood. City of Coshocton, right now, very heavy rain, gusty winds, less lightning, interestingly enough.
Yeah.
So here's what that can often mean. The less lightning we see, the storms are getting shorter. So when they're really tall, they've got lots of ice up in the top, and the ice bangs together, little ice particles, and there's friction that happens there. And it's kind of like when you scuff your feet on the floor and then touch the doorknob. You build up that electric charge. Those ice particles are doing the same thing. And eventually it builds up enough of a charge that it needs a doorknob, needs to touch something. So that's when it creates some lightning, and it releases that electric charge, and we either see it between the clouds or we see it jump from the cloud to the ground, sometimes from one storm to another. But in all cases, it's releasing an electric charge, and then it starts the process again to build up another one. Really big storms create lots of lightning because they have lots of that hail, or lots of the ice banging around in the cloud. When we see less lightning, a lot of times it means that we're seeing some of those cloud tops not quite as tall. That is excellent news. So that is a good sign when we see less lightning. Here's Dresden. You've still got some heavy rain happening just to the east, but the worst of it is just to the east of you now. But the city of Coshocton still getting some of that very heavy rain. And did I just see something new come in? That is a new thunderstorm warning. Who is that? That's going to be Licking County. So that's going to be back here in all of this mess. So while we still have the strongest storms out here to the east, Coshocton down into Zanesville, headed toward Cambridge and on up into Dover, there's still plenty of heavy rain out here to the west. It is not as severe, but it's severe enough that you could get gusty winds, hail, and the chance for flooding. Look at that. Just popped in new hail cores. Let's look at that real quick because those are significant. So this is outside of the tornado warning that's in Coshocton County. This is down in Muskingum County and a little bit into eastern Perry County. So Crooksville there, New Lex. So this is eastern Perry County there. On up into the Zanesville area. The gray is some significant hail. So you still have storms that are big enough. They've got those updrafts creating those hail cores and potentially creating some fairly large hail through all of this. But that is going to march off to the east at about 60 miles per hour. So if you remember just a couple minutes ago, this was in western Coshocton County. It's already moving through the city and quickly heading to the east. So these have got some speed, which in and of itself can generate some damaging winds. So that's another reason why it'll be good for these to get on out of here as quickly as they can. The actual cold front is still back this way. It's pushing all of this across the state. So that's part of the reason why they're moving so quickly. They're being shoved along by that cold front. We had a different front this morning. This morning, it was a warm front. So this morning, ahead of the storms, it was in the 50s.
Right.
I mean, you stepped out the door this morning and you're like, well, this is chilly.
It's chilly. Yeah.
I mean, this is, and all of a sudden there were these storms and there was hail and there was gusty winds and there was all the stuff this morning. And, okay, new pictures coming in. So this is in Madison County right now. Madison County, where a home has been damaged, we don't know yet whether this was from rotation or from straight line winds, but Jeremy, where is that in Madison County? State Route 38 in Madison County. So you can see the house there. The roof appears to be off of the house. Is that a pole down in the front? Is that what we're seeing there? It's in the dark, it's tough to tell, but in any case, there is damage that has happened there. And with a lot of these storms, even straight line winds can do some significant damage. So when you get 40, 60 mile per hour straight line winds coming out of these storms, that's enough to bring down tree limbs, to damage your house, to bring down power lines. When it gets even stronger than that, we've had reports this evening of wind gusts of up to 60 miles per hour. So that's enough to blow around anything that's been left outside and to do a little bit of damage. Could even take off some shingles or some siding. But you add some rotation to the mix and it becomes an even bigger problem for us. Right now, we still have some strong to severe storms behind this main line, but the biggest problem is in Coshocton County right now. There's been just enough rotation that the National Weather Service has issued a tornado warning. They've pared a little of that back, but you notice it is still including the city of Coshocton and then on up almost to New Philadelphia through Newcomerstown and closer out here toward the Dover area as well. So this is new video. A tree on the side of the highway, did you say? So take a look at this. This is from our Isabel Hansen. Oh, look at that. So trees blown down. What part of the city is that in? 270 at Easton. So on the east side of Franklin County, that's where you have that coming down. So that has taken a tree and blown it over the wall that separates the homes from the highway. You probably are going to see other damage like that in some other neighborhoods. So again, this is even straight line winds are causing some damage tonight. Coshocton itself still under a tornado warning until about 3:15 in the morning as this tracks across parts of central Ohio. These storms, we've been watching this for days. They've been at least trackable because we've known this cold front was coming. So we've been able, hopefully, to get the word out. You knew that this was coming. It wasn't a huge surprise for you tonight because we had at least a little bit of a heads up. Yeah, the rotation is difficult to see there. So normally, on a velocity image, we're able to see where things are moving. Doppler radar is fascinating because part of what it's able to do, and one way to describe it is imagine when a train, you're sitting at an intersection, train goes by. Jeremy, is that Licking County again? All right, so that's 79 at 70. All right, so you're in the Buckeye Lake area. So that's going to be, look at the heavy rain still happening there. So that's going to be, where are we? Here's Coshocton. So here's Newark. Let me slide that over a little bit so you can see it. So there we are. So here's Newark in Licking County. So you're looking at down here near the Buckeye Lake area. So 79 at 70, that's some heavy rain. Look at the wind in that. That's incredible. Still just really gusting through that. But what I was telling you a second ago is about Doppler radar. And one of the magic things about Doppler radar, science, is that you still have the ability to check the direction that things are going. You're sitting at an intersection and it's at a train crossing, right? The train goes by and it changes the sound as it goes by. So the train blows the horn. That change in sound is the Doppler effect. So the sound is moving in one direction, but as it goes past you, you're getting it from a different direction. So as the train's coming, you hear the sound this way. As it goes by, then you hear it from this way. That change is what Doppler radar uses to see what direction things are going. And that's why we can tell, is it coming toward the radar or away from the radar? And by being able to use that difference and to see how things are moving in the atmosphere, we can see whether there's rotation out there. That's what has given us the tornado warning for Coshocton County tonight. This is a radar indicated rotation that, excuse me, that suggests that Coshocton may have some issues with that rotation and a possible Tornado. Let's look at this warning again and see how we're doing here. So they're paring some of it back, but it is still very clearly including parts of Coshocton County. So there it is. There's 36 coming this way, and it travels over this way through Newcomerstown and on off toward the east. And you will still see that very heavy rain moving into eastern Coshocton County for the next few minutes. Let me just put a quick query on this and see what they have updated here, because this is going to run until 3:15, and this is still moving at 60 miles per hour and moving off to the east, radar indicated rotation. If it were to come to the ground, of course, there would be a different signature that we can pick up on radar that would show you that there was a debris ball. So when the tornado is when it's in the cloud, it's still a funnel cloud. It's not a tornado till it actually gets to the ground. When it gets to the ground, it begins to stir up the dirt and stir up the dust. If, heaven forbid, it hits something, then when it destroys it, it will take that debris and throw it into the air. Radar can see the debris, and it recognizes the difference between the raindrops and the actual debris. And because of that, it's able to tell that this is a tornado on the ground. So this is live from Madison County right now. So live pictures in Madison County, looking at some damage to a home there. Wow, looks like it's taken off the whole roof there. So it's, again, State Route 38 and what? In Newport. So we're in Newport here, where there's some damage in Madison County on State Route 38. It's tough to tell in the dark what kind of damage that is, but it looks like the roof has been ripped away from that house. That could still be straight line wind damage. It's not necessarily a tornado, but it could be. So that may be something that needs to be surveyed in the morning. Let's take a look. Let's go back out. Let me show you a different place on the radar and show you where we're talking about right now. So this is going to be in, let me back out, and we're going to come out here to Madison County. Let's get in here. Here's Madison County. I'm going to come down here. So you can see there's light rain across most of Madison County right now. So all the way from...
New tornado warning, Marshall.
New one? What do you got?
Yeah, we've got a tornado warning now for Athens County, also into Guernsey County, as well as Coshocton.
So those are all new.
Yep.
All right, let's see what we got. Here we go. So part of Athens County, southeastern Athens County, is included in this one. And the one in Athens County is still going to be on the northeastern edge of this one. This is going to include Meigs, Galliot, Jackson, Vinton, and Athens County until 3:30 in the morning. And this one is capable of producing a tornado. It's moving at 65 miles per hour. And again, this is radar indicated. So this is another one that radar is able to see what direction it's going. Here's another one, and this one kind of tacks on just south of Coshocton. So this is another one that gets us into Coshocton, Guernsey, Harrison, Muskingum, and Tuscarawas counties until 3:30 in the morning. And this one also moving at about 60 miles per hour. So this was a potential tornado. The radar indicated that it was about 9 miles south of West Lafayette. So we have new tornado warnings now. There's one up here. I'll put a track on it a little bit. Here we go. So this one is new right here north of Cambridge, so part of Guernsey County there. And then this one tracking through a little bit of Vinton County on up into Athens County. And live pictures on a traffic camera from where? Oh, this is Nelsonville, so that's the downtown square. It's hard to tell in the dark, isn't it? But there it is, some heavy rain. So that's going to be right on the Hocking-Athens County border. Let me show you where we are. So for that one, let's get down here into Athens. So Nelsonville is right there on 33. So there's Nelsonville. That's the live picture you're seeing up there. Come down here through Chansey and the Plains, down here into Athens. So Athens is going to be included in this, down past Alexander and the airport. Let's show you the actual radar, and then you'll be able to see where the storm is that is creating this problem. So it's on its way up through, here's Vinton County, Vinton County, from Wellston on up through Vinton County into Athens. The concern is likely right here with some rotation happening there just to the east of Wellston and Jackson County, making its way up toward Athens. Live pictures from the College Green in Athens. There it is. That's the old stomping grounds. So on the bricks, you can see all kinds of rain happening there, and more of that is coming. Athens has not gotten the heaviest of it yet. That is still off to the west, and it'll make its way across 33 and through Athens, kind of tracking up 50 as it comes across parts of Athens County. But live on the College Green there, you can still see the lights are on, the bricks are wet, and uptown Athens is quiet. There's an unusual sight, right? 3:09 in the morning. Yeah, everybody's getting ready for class, right? Okay. As a Bobcat, I can vouch for that. Phil's a Bobcat too.
No.
I thought you were a Bobcat.
I went to Otterbein.
Really?
Yeah.
Why did I have you as a Bobcat?
I don't know.
It's not the first time I've been wrong.
I like OU.
We have a lot of Bobcats here at
Yes.
ABC6. So here we are with the very heavy rain up through parts of Muskingum County and the hail core here east of Zanesville, tracking south of I-70, headed over into Guernsey County. But tornado warnings are in effect now for parts of Guernsey County and Coshocton counties, as well as Athens and Vinton counties. These storms racing across the state at about 50 to 60 miles per hour. Still a pretty good way to go till they get east of I-77 and out of the Columbus metro area. So here they race off to the east. Marietta Parkersburg still in line for some of that. So once it gets through Athens, it'll track down 50 and head toward Parkersburg. Columbus itself almost on the back edge of this. That's going to be helpful for us, and more of that heavy rain moving out. This will give us a break before we get into the next rounds on Thursday and Friday. So it is going to be another alert for us. Phil, I'm adding an alert for Friday.
Okay.
So we're keeping an eye on Saturday now.
Okay.
So our friends at the Storm Prediction Center have suggested that there may be even more of this on Saturday. So we're just sort of keeping an eye on a lot of that as we continue to track what's headed to the east.
So National Weather Service for the southern part of the state in Charleston, West Virginia, has at 3:08, just around Nelsonville near Oak Hill, they had a thunderstorm. So a severe thunderstorm warning down there, moving east at 90 miles an hour.
What?
90 miles an hour.
I want to think that's a typo, but
I'm
it's probably
wondering.
not.
It says it has 70 mile an hour wind gusts, so maybe they meant 70, but they have 90 written down.
Wow.
So yeah.
All right, let me
So
just...
even if you're not in an area that is tornado warned, these severe thunderstorms are severe and putting down a lot of rain and damaging winds at the same time.
Let's look at, it's not going to give me that thunderstorm warning, is it, on this map? Let me change maps real quick and let's look at the information on this. So here's Nelsonville. So this is the tornado warning. So that's Nelsonville, that's downtown. So you're seeing that as a live picture. So Nelsonville right here on 33, right on the Hocking-Athens County border. Tornado warning for parts of Athens County, including city of Athens. And the orange that you see that runs all the way up through McConnellsville, that is the thunderstorm warning. And that's the one Phil was just talking about. That likely has, there it is. Let's get the query on that. And this is going to be for Perry, Washington, Morgan, and Athens counties. Moving 60 miles per hour and wind gusts even faster. And we've had reports already tonight of wind gusts of 60 miles per hour. So there's been a lot happening out there tonight across a lot of central Ohio. Here's the other one. This is Meigs and Gallia counties. And there it is, 90 miles per hour. Holy cow. So what's happening with this storm, and this is similar to what's happening in Athens County. This is the severe thunderstorm warning until 3:45. So the storm itself is moving at 60 to 90 miles per hour, east at 90. So you know how fast that is when you're in your car, right? Well, hopefully you've never actually gone 90 miles an hour in your car, because nowhere is that legal in Ohio. But in any case, 90 miles per hour and wind gusts to go along with it. So as Phil mentioned, even if you're not in the tornado warned areas like this near Athens County, you're still in potentially dangerous territory, just because these are very strong storms with gusty winds. Let's get back up here to the Coshocton County storms. There you go. So this is going to be northern Guernsey County. That's right here through Kimballton. And that is going to be northern Guernsey County, parts of Tuscarawas County, and then these eastern portions of Coshocton County. City of Coshocton has been taken out of that tornado warning, but we still have the issues around the I-77 corridor in eastern Ohio. Those are going to continue tracking off to the east as well. These storms are moving they're not moving 90 miles an hour, but they're moving pretty fast. These are going to be through here. This is going to be at radar indicated and still moving at about 60 miles per hour. So with wind gusts to match. So tornado warnings in eastern Ohio right now, and those are going to continue through about 3:30 in the morning. So a lot of this is going to be out of our part of the state by the time we get to around 3:30, 4 o'clock. The next thing to notice is where the yellow is here. That is the tornado watch that is expected to expire by 4 o'clock, and they've removed even more of that to the north. So where there were yellow, see, they just removed a little more of it. Where there were yellow counties to the north, they've pared that back, and now they've just pared back a little bit more of that tornado watch. So the good news is that some of the storms are weakening, but they are still strong enough to produce damaging wind gusts, very large hail, and some exceedingly heavy rain. So there's the College Green in Athens, and they are looking for some very heavy rain in the next few minutes as these storms begin to move in. Here's what it looks like on radar right now. Look at all the lightning that goes with this. So Athens itself, just about to get some of that very heavy rain. More of that from Vinton County is headed to the northeast. We're going to put a track on that and run that through there and then on up this way. So that's going to get you, it's into Athens now, into Ames by about 3:22, then headed into Watertown by about 3:43, Dunham by 3:48. So tracking to the northeast at highway speeds, 60, 65 miles per hour. So if you were trying to chase this one, you'd have to find a really good highway that's got some straightaways that you could try to keep up with it. Otherwise, it's probably going to get out ahead of you before you have a chance to do that. But there's potential rotation on that. And because of that, there is a concern of the rotation getting to the ground. So far, it is radar indicated, but it doesn't take much for that to tighten up a little bit and become a funnel cloud. And then if it drops down to the ground, it becomes a tornado. So your funnel cloud will be first, it drops down, becomes a tornado, it can do some damage on the ground, and then it often lifts after it's been on the ground for just a little bit. So most of what we're seeing tonight has the chance to be some short-lived storms instead of long track tornadoes. These would be fairly short, but they're tracking through the eastern parts of Ohio right now, all the way from Cambridge and Caldwell down into Athens and all the way down past Wellston. Columbus is on the back edge. You're not finished yet. We can still get some gusty winds. Even once all of this moves out, we're still likely to get some very gusty winds overnight tonight, even once the rain is done. But the heavy rain from Newark and Lancaster on over into eastern Ohio, still going to go on for a few hours. You see the lightning there on the College Green? So Athens is about to get some of that lightning and the heavy rain as it starts to move through. Here's what that looks like right there. So some of that heavy rain just getting through the city of Athens right now. So coming down, there's right up 33, you get to Nelsonville, down through Chansey, there's the plains, down into Athens. 50 comes along this way. And so this is racing off to the east. So Athens and down into Albany, still getting lots of that heavy rain right now. Waterloo kind of on the back edge of this, but with some lightning flashes in the last few minutes. So keep an eye on the College Green. Look at see how much harder the rain is falling now? You can actually see it, that it's really blowing through there right now, as opposed to what it was just a couple of minutes ago. So now you can see that you're getting a little more of that haze because the rain is coming down so hard. Look at the trees. Look at that, just really blowing around through Athens right now. Those are big, old trees on the College Green, and it takes a lot to move those because they have they're really old, but they're really strong. So there it is on Athens, 33 coming down this way, and it's moving off to the east. Stroud's Run State Park off to the east, and a little lightning and chancy there, and it's going to continue that direction. Let's go up and look at Coshocton again. That's a little farther up this way. There's New Lex. There's Zanesville. There's Coshocton. Make a quick check on our warnings. So they've allowed the portion of Coshocton County to expire at this point. Now the concern is mainly for this northern part of Guernsey County, so Kimballton on up into Gnadenhutton. This is where you're still going to have that really heavy rain, gusty winds, and the potential for some rotation in this. Let me get a quick note from the warning itself and see what it has to say. So there we are. This is going to be Guernsey, Harrison, and Tuscarawas counties. This is 12 miles west of Freeport, moving east at 60 miles per hour. So really hauling through there. And this is radar indicated rotation, which is enough because if we're seeing rotation in the clouds, it's very easy for it to come down to the surface. I keep catching some of the lightning and the heavy rain showing up on the College Green there in Athens. So it's really, really coming through there right now. Same thing happening in parts of Guernsey County, and that will move out in the next 20 to 30 minutes or so. The tornado warning for Athens County right here, that will continue until at least 3:30 in the morning. So this is one that's going to go on for just another 10 minutes or so as that storm races to the east. It may not be able to hold on to the rotation. A lot of times the rotation kind of comes and goes a little bit, where it's very clear at one moment and then it dissipates a little bit. Sometimes it can come back. So that's another reason why these don't always expire early, because the polygons stay around until the threat has mostly moved by. But there's that heavy rain happening in Athens. Now we're looking at, this is Columbus. So what we're looking at, this is 315 at Town Street in Columbus. So you can see the overpass there, and down under that, it's closed now because of flooding. So they're trying to keep the cars out of, is somebody trying to drive through that? Looks like they are. Can we take that full? Let's see, are folks trying to drive through there? Because you can see the flashing lights from the police where they're trying to keep that closed. Looks like one side may be open and the other side is closed. So part of it may not be quite deep enough that it's a problem for traffic. Traffic's still able to get through there, but looks like the center lanes might be the biggest issue. But that's 315 at Town. So 315 South is closed right now. If you're ready to get out the door and get to work, that may affect how you get to work. So 315 South at Town Street is closed right now because of high water. We've had that much rain, and it's still falling across a lot of central Ohio right now. Wouldn't be surprised to see this tornado warning in Athens be allowed to expire in the next few minutes, because the rotation looks like it may be letting up a little bit. But look, just south of Athens into Washington County, that is some really heavy rain happening there. So this is going to be Alexander in Athens County down here toward Wilkesville, and some very heavy rain happening there. More of that is on the way. Gallipolis is about to get some very heavy rain. A lot of this racing to the east at about 60 miles per hour. So again, it's not staying in one place very long, which is at least good news for some of the flooding, because the faster it moves through, the less time it has to drop more rain. Where Columbus is already having a little bit of that flooding now, the good news is that the back edge, the rain will stop here in Columbus in about the next half hour, 45 minutes, which may give some of the storm drains and some of the storm system a chance to catch up a little bit and move some of that water out of the city. But it's going to get into the creeks and the streams and the rivers, and those are going to come up pretty quickly. So it is going to be an issue not just tonight, but for the next several days. The storms that we have tonight, it'll take a couple of days for this much rain to move out of the city. So as that drains, it's got to go somewhere, and it's not just sinking into the ground. So that's going to run off, and we are now saturating the ground. So when new rain gets here, it's not just going to sink in, it's going to run off pretty quickly, which means the storm system is going to have to really keep up with the amount of water that's coming down. And heavy downpours like this are possible for the next several days, all the way into the weekend. So that's why there's a real flooding risk for the rest of the week and into the weekend. The strongest storms in the area are just moving east of 77 now. So they're east of Coshocton, east of 77. They're in parts of Tuscarawas County, down into a little bit of Guernsey County, but east of 77. In Noble County, Caldwell, you are seeing some of that move to the east as well with some very heavy rain, and more of that is moving to the east in Athens County as well. So these are good things, but you can see how heavy the rain is right now in Athens. That is coming down in buckets across campus there. Let's look at that real quick. Here we are. There it is. So from Athens, right there, down 33, moving off toward the east. Ames is getting some of that really heavy rain right now. A little lightning and chancy, but still the rain letting up a little bit there with more on the way. But the heaviest of it, and some of the most concerning, some of what has been showing some rotation, is starting to move out of the area. At the moment, we're not getting a lot of reports of damage, but there have been plenty of wind gusts capable of that. So part of what may be happening is the collection points for damage reports are a little busy right now. So it may be later in the morning that we start getting more of those damage reports about what has happened across the region tonight. But from Athens all the way up into McConnellsville and farther up into Zanesville, Cambridge, Dresden, Coshocton, it is coming down in buckets right now. The good news is that a lot of the rotation is beginning to wane at this point. So we're going to see, most likely, these tornado warnings be allowed to expire by the time we get to 3:30 or so, and that's when most of these are scheduled to go. So the one in Athens and the one in parts of Guernsey County are scheduled to expire in about 3.5 minutes or so, and we'll see how that goes. Jeremy, tell me what we're looking at here. France Road in Dublin. So this is Dublin, and you can see, it looks like a lake out there. So do we know, is that closed right now? Are they letting people drive through that? Okay, we're checking on that. So there is high water around the Columbus metro area right now. You've seen some of it in the city of Columbus. Now you're seeing some of that in Dublin. So France Road in Dublin looks like should be closed because that's a lot of high water. The catch to this is these can be roads that you've driven a million times. You know this road like the back of your hand. The problem is when there's water over it, you can't see what's underneath, or more importantly, what's not underneath. If a sewer cover has blown off because there's been water coming up out of it, or there's a problem on the road that you can't see under the water, there can be hazards under there. So you don't want to walk through it, because if you walk through it and say there's a manhole cover open, you can end up falling down into that. Or had a story from a friend recently who said that she had actually gotten into an electrical conduit because didn't know it was under the water. So those are the hazards that can be there. You don't want to drive or walk through that because maybe the road's been washed out, or there are, those covers that are missing, and that can be a real hazard under the water, but you can't see it because it's hidden by the water, especially when it's dark like this. So this is 315 South. It is closed right now at Town Street because there's so much water under the overpass. And so you can see the police there have closed that off to keep people from driving through there. In the meantime, strong storms still moving to the east. Some of that in Guernsey County headed to the east, and Athens still dealing with some of that as well. I'll put it back in motion so you see what direction a lot of this is headed. Let's look at the last hour of motion. There it is. Let me zoom out a little bit so you've got a really good picture, and we'll turn off the lightning. There it is. So now you can see that line, that very strong line of thunderstorms racing to the east, a lot of it already east of 77. So Toledo is finished with those storms. Columbus is still on the edge. We're dealing with rain right now. The heaviest of it still moving through parts of Licking County and headed out into Muskingum County. Heavy rain in southern Ohio as well. More of that is going to continue over the next few hours. The picture you see here, that's still the College Green in Athens, and that is, well, it's looking a little better than it did just a few minutes ago. There's a little bit less of the wind. Can we take that one full again? Let's see if the trees are still rocking. Doesn't look like it's as windy. The wind was brief but very strong as it came through. You can still see the pretty good rain is coming down, but the wind doesn't look as if it's quite as strong as it was just a little bit ago. That's because these storms are racing through there very, very quickly. So coming up in the next, let's see what happens in about 10 seconds here. Let's see if they allow these to expire or if they add to them. The pink counties you see, and that's going to include Perry County, Muskingum County, Coshocton County. The pink is the severe thunderstorm watch that's still going to be in effect until about 7 o'clock in the morning. They may pare that back a little bit as the storms continue to move to the east. But the tornado warning in Athens County has been allowed to expire. The tornado warning in Guernsey County has been allowed to expire. The green that you see back here is the flood watch that remains in effect through Sunday. And the pink and the orange are severe storms moving off to the east. Now that we have the tornado warnings that have expired, we are going to go back to regular programming for a few minutes. Don't forget GDC, Good Day Columbus, is coming up at 4:30, so at 4:25, with all kinds of updates on what we've been through tonight.